Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Friday Furtado Show, where I, your host, Justin Furtado, Coach Furtado, share my experience as a coach and a leader. So this week, I will not be sharing a personal experience, more so my personal thoughts on a horrific and tragic experience that happened a few days ago in Uvalde, Texas, at the elementary school, where over 20 people died from a mass shooting. As I'm sure most of you have heard from this, 19 of them were children. And I wish I pulled up some of the numbers, but there have been 288 mass shootings this year, and there have been over 900 mass shootings in the last 10 years since Sandy Hook in America. Like, just let that sink in. It's amazing to me how our politicians, the ones that we elect, they are children. They are children. They do not compromise on anything. They can't get anything done. I mean, are you kidding me? You're gonna let the NRA fund you and buy you, and just so you can be in power? You don't care about people. You don't care about people whatsoever. And I don't even care what your Republican or Democrat affiliation, because I think it's more than, it's a Republican problem, although their backs are in, the NRA is in all their, backing all their campaigns. You look at Ted Cruz, that guy's a fool, man. That guy is a fool, right? But there are a lot of fools. It's not just him, right? There's fools on both aisles. And what's really going to happen with what happens in this country is going to be a result of these imbeciles, these idiots that cannot look over, and accept that they are wrong, and look the other way. They're too money hungry. They're too ego driven, and it's going to drive us off a cliff in America, to be honest. Like, we can't pass anything, if there's not 60 Democrats or 60 Republicans, they can't pass anything. There's 3 bipartisan bills, and maybe there's some more. I'm not going to claim to know the exact number. And this is a little bit of a rant, and one of the things is bridging impact. It's about bridging impact to the next generation. And I had an opportunity to coach and work the PE for a PE school in Watts, and what I told them was just you know what, I hope y'all can make decisions. I work with y'all because I hope y'all can make decisions better than the people that are in office now. And it's amazing to me how incompetent these so-called leaders are. They're not leaders. If you can't be able to compromise with people, then you should not be in power. And I get it. It's part of it is a two-party system, and if you compromise here, your voters are going to be angry. Well, you know what? If you don't get elected because you did the right thing, great job. You did the bare minimum. But most people, they just try to please their base, and instead of doing the right thing, they just do the only thing that they know to stay in power. And so, I want this podcast to be productive, right? And with that being said, I think having these conversations are necessary, not just right after, right? But I mean, we got to take some sort of action. So if you know some good action plans, for sure, comment, DM me, how can we do it? I mean, we can be politically active and maybe more civically engaged. I try to do my research and vote here in California, but California doesn't really have, it has obviously a gun problem with the shooting at an Asian church in Orange County. That's, we have obviously still have a racism problem, right? Shooting in Buffalo, shooting of elderly black people. Are you bleeping kidding me? And we pretty much do nothing about it. Yeah, it's just I don't even necessarily think you need to strip away the Second Amendment. What I think you really need to do is have it needs to be strict. You need to pass at least a 12 to 16 week course. You need to know how to go. You should not be able to go to a Walmart and buy a gun. All right, you should not be able to do that, right? So I as much as I want to get into policy, really dive into that. There are a lot of other better podcasts for that than this one. But for this one, I really talk about bridging impact, bridging leadership, and making an impact. And making an impact is doing the right thing. And clearly, our politicians don't. Right? Whether it's gun control or other different issues. Right? They don't compromise. They're incompetent. I don't want to say they're trash, right? But they are incompetent leaders, and I'm sure I'm frustrated. I'm just one dude that I'm very fortunate to not have a personal experience with this, but I do worry. I work with kids every day. I go into schools, whether I'm doing PE, I used to substitute teach, I used to work at Boys and Girls Club. Like, kids should feel safe at school, and they don't. There's no way. Why would I feel safe at a school? How many school shootings there are? Because all these, number one, the more school shootings happen, actually, like, they happen in kind of like waves because they're inspired. So you see, one sick person sees it on the news, and then it inspires them to go do it. So you'll probably see some more throughout the year 2022, because that's just kind of how it works in cycles. And hopefully we can find a calm period where some of these people may not see it in the news, right? And of course you have to cover it because the people that died have to, so it's not that. But really what it boils down to is, how can we have some real actual conversations? Like, arming bodyguards with police at the front ain't gonna work. It's gonna be a minor solution, but I mean the guy took out an officer, right? We have to have less guns. Like, you see the correlation. Like, the thing is, I've heard the argument, like, oh, people are going to kill people anyways, like with a car and all this, blah, blah, blah. And you are right. Yes, there are terrorists. A lot of these people are terrorists. The person that attacked people in Buffalo, that white dude, he was a terrorist, right? There's a lot of white terrorism going on, and we don't talk about it like that. That's a full nother episode. But what it is, with the gun control specifically, is there's so many guns here, so many mass shootings. It's both, and I'm sure there's a lot of nuances, and I'm not going to sit here and claim to be an expert. I'm just want you to think about how amazing, and in a bad way, that is, and just how incompetent our leaders are, and that one day if you run for office, I hope that you do the right thing. I just hope people do the right thing, and people don't, and I'm very disappointed in politicians, right? I'm getting to that point at the age where I think this is going to be, my third cycle of elections that I'll be coming up on in 2024 for president, at least, and start to get to that point where you maybe not as optimistic as possible. What can we do? We can be good leaders. We can follow through. We can have tough conversations. We can do the right thing. So for those of you listening, that's what we got to do. Right? Let's have a conversation. If you disagree with me a little on gun control, let's have a conversation. I'm not going to sit here and shut you down, but I do think, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm a logic party person. Like, if I had to choose one or the other, I'd probably choose Democrat, because the Republicans have some crazy, beliefs that are very anti-humanity. But I don't really have a problem debating, and having a conversation about, ways and paths forward, because, that's part of a leader. Nick Saban said it best: if you want to make people happy, sell ice cream, right? If you want to make your base happy, sell them ice cream and don't run, right? You're going to upset people. I'm probably upsetting someone that's listening to this right now. So just be willing to accept that. It's a different episode, so I want to acknowledge that they're not always going to be like this, but I also want to recognize that I have a platform, and I've created a platform for myself, so I want to speak my mind, and let's have a dialogue. I'm not going to sit here and shoot you down. If you disagree with me, that's cool, it's fine, but for real, part of being a leader is recognizing that, and let's have a conversation. So appreciate y'all. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if you like the episode. Want to share it with a friend, and if you're feeling a similar way and you see this dude talking and you're like, hey, I kind of agree with him, send it over to him. Let's help grow this, because we can't change the world, just you and I. We got to make sure that we impact the next generation by being very intentional. So appreciate y'all, and have a wonderful weekend. It's Memorial Day, so de-stress, say I love you to your family and all the friends and people that matter most to you.